Hey there, fight fans. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this episode of Combat Sports Talk. Welcome to Combat Sports Talk, a podcast dedicated to UFC and Bellator discussion, the MMA community, and combat sports in general. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and joining me this week is George G-Money Stallworth. We got John Keys to Victory in the green room right now, but we got George G-Money Stallworth on the air right now. What's up? What's up, George? And he's frozen. All right. That is okay. All right, let's go ahead. Looks like John Keys is ready. So we're gonna go ahead and hit John Keys now. Boom. And look, now it's now we gotta send George to the green room, and you are here. How are you, sir? You are still muted though, so don't talk until you're unmuted. You're still muted. Let me see if I can unmute you. I cannot. Nope, I just muted you. There you go. Now, look, we got all kinds of technical problems going on right now. All right, let's see here. So let's see. I can't hear George, and I can't hear John Keys, but that's now? Okay. I can. There you are. All right.
There you are. Yeah. There we go. Hello, everybody. Right. How's everybody doing today?
There we go. What is up? Keys to Victory, John Keys.
Well, I'm doing all right. My shoulder is doing much better. I can raise it a little bit higher now. My stitches are coming out. Chicks love stitches. So there's my scar. Yeah, it is.
Wait, hold on. How do we know you got a shoulder surgery and you just weren't caught snitching?
No.
You got stitches.
I don't snitch. Okay, believe
you got stitches.
I don't snitch. I got stitches, but I didn't snitch. Okay, I didn't snitch. I promise. Well, hold on. I might have because they gave me sleep medication that's like the generic of Ambien. So you got to be real careful about that. So
all right, maybe you said something in your sleep. We got George G-Money Stallworth here. What's up, George? Let me see. There you are.
Yeah, there he is.
Look at him. Okay, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, you are missing out. You need to go to YouTube right now because this is George G-Money Stallworth in his natural habitat.
Yeah, little do you know, people, we had to put him on freeze because he had to clean up a body and everything.
Yeah, like there was a body. He just one of those Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva legs just dangling there on the ground.
Yeah,
I love how Ryan is trying to, lessen the blow that's about to come from the pre-show when we were talking about. He's trying to get in my good graces right now. I appreciate that, Ryan. I understand it. I see it for what it is. I call it out.
Hey,
don't worry. Well, go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, listen, what happens in the pre-show should stay in the pre-show. You should stay in the pre-show.
We should be recording the pre-show. That's what should be happening.
I mean, little do you know, people, the pre-show is fire. Okay. I really wish one day we could record our pre-shows and then let you guys see it one day, like many years down the line. Okay, maybe at the 200th episode we show y'all what we do on the pre-show.
So
just to get us hyped up.
Preferably when somebody who may have been talked about during the pre-show is no longer a threat to my health.
Oh wow! So now he's a threat to your health, is he? Wow! Wow!
It's one of those things. We'll get into it. I am so glad to see y'all. I love doing the show. I love talking about this sport, and there's so much to talk about this week that having both of you here is going to be great because we're going to be talking about the man in the arena. One of the things that happened this week is Daniel Cormier talked about the fact that he cries after fights and how much people make fun of him. So I want to get into that and get various perspectives on what he said there. But before we go another further, if you know what I mean, we got a fight that we gotta wrap up here. This UFC Vegas 34, Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum happened at the Apex Arena just last night. So let's go ahead into it. Let's get the official decision on that. There's some new people we want to talk about. This is the official decision. This is the official decision. This is where we talk about the fights from Saturday night, last night. UFC Vegas 34, Cannonier versus Gastelum. Saturday, August 21st, 2021, in the Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. There were 6 fights on the card. Alexander Pantoja defeated Brandon Royval via submission, rear naked choke, 146 in round number 2. By the way, guys, Kelechi KC Onyebuchi is in the audience tonight. So if you guys want to talk some smack about Factory X, I mean, he's going to hear it.
Oh, no, we're not going to talk smack about Factory X. We're going to talk about Czech Congo tonight, okay?
Wait, what?
I got you, Casey. We're talking about Czech Congo, all right? We got that.
Yeah,
nobody was talking about
y'all
Czech
said
Congo.
y'all were coming in hot in the pre-show. Y'all meant it, didn't you? Like I feel the energy right now crackling through the lines.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So here he is. He's talking Factory. Brandon Royval, you know, we talked about Brandon Royval when he came into the UFC from Legacy. He was a champion at Legacy fighting championships. And so what happened is he came into the UFC, had some really great fights, was working his way up the ladder, and then he's hit a couple of roadblocks. Alexander Pantoja is a great fighter. This is the guy that they think is going to challenge Brandon Moreno in his first fight as the champion of the 125-pound flyweight division. And so Brandon Royval right there on the cusp of challenging for that title, and then he ran into Pantoja, who this fight was back and forth. It was all kinds of action. But you know, it was really interesting in the post-fight analysis. They were saying that Brandon Royval likes to have that fight where he's, you know, sticking his head in the mouth of the lion. He's putting himself at risk because with great risk comes great reward. But this was one of those times where he's fighting a fighter who is, you know, who's as talented perhaps as he is, and eventually he got caught in that rear naked choke, and the rest is history. He lost by rear naked choke submission at 146 in round number 2. What do you think about that, John?
I think that everything you said was fairly accurate. Do I think he's a Moreno contender? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Former champion, regional circuit. I think that he would. I think he's. It's worth him fighting. I think that probably 1 or 2 more fights, and he's got a good claim. Maybe we should see him against Davidson Figueiredo. See what happens.
I would like to see that first, just for the simple fact that, you know, let's put it out there. Almost every fighter from the UFC has been a champion at some point. So yeah, let's put him against the God of War, and let's see what happens then.
All right. The next fight of the night: Austin Hubbard versus Vince Pichel. I'm so disappointed in myself and how I pronounced his name last week. I was thankful you weren't there, George, because you would have had me repeat it wrong every single time. And so Austin Hubbard lost via unanimous decision to Vince Pichel. Crazy thing about Vince Pichel is that he's got this carny mustache. It's the craziest thing. Last person I saw with that was like, Uncle.
Cub Swanson.
Cub Swanson had that 1980s adult film mustache. Yeah, but Uncle. It's
Uncle
the guy
Creepy.
Uncle Creepy. Yeah.
What was his name? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Nobody can remember his name.
Yeah. Forgive me, Combat Sports World. It's just I cannot remember.
Ian McCall.
Ian McCall. There you go.
Yeah. So Vince Pichel has this kind of carny mustache, like the villain, you know, with the handlebar twist on the end. Dude really put that work in on Austin Hubbard. But the thing that got me the most, because Vince Pichel has been in the fight game for a while, and so and so he said at the end, he said, "Beware of the old guy in a profession where men die young."
Mm.
And I was like, that right
That's
there,
dope.
that is very dope. That is awesome. So, so yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what, you're right. He's in a sport where, you know, it's a young man sport. So if you find an old guy in a young man sport, that dude is the truth.
Hey, I think I said it. I think I said it before. Never, you know, don't. And also that goes with the, you know, don't fear the man that wears a boxing glove to a bare knuckles match. You know, that's actually an old, you know, just fear that man. You see that in video games all the time. You know, if he's an old dude, and like the old dude in Street Fighter, like Ordo or Dalsim. Dalsim is actually quite old, believe it or not, and he's fighting against these young fighters on Street Fighter 2. You need to fear Dalsim. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I fear Dalsim because that Joker is so slow. But you know,
Hey.
that's a conversation for a whole other time. Speaking of old, you know, George, what do you think about Vince Pichel and what he said?
Yeah.
I came in on the tail end of this. I didn't quite catch you. Forgive me for the internet.
Yeah.
I got spotty internet going on, so I may be in and out during the show, but I'll try to link back in.
That is okay. What we were saying is, you know, Vince Pichel said, you know, beware of the old guy in a profession where men die young.
I don't know. I mean, I think that speaks volumes for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, George, you're not a young man in the sport, are you,
No.
sir?
No, I am
No,
48 years young.
I wouldn't have threw your age out there like that because, you know, I'm just
I mean,
saying,
I call it like it is. What else can I do? Death stares at us all one day. All we can do is stare back.
But take a look at him. He don't look 48.
He sure
guy,
does not.
He does not. Look at it. Okay, you know, just for our lady fans out there.
Yeah.
Till I show off. Is that what you would like me to do?
Oh no.
Let me stand up. Are we talking about for the? Let's just stand.
Go ahead. Hold on. Let me put you full screen. There you go.
Hold on. This ain't OnlyFans, dog.
Slim and Trim. Slim and Trim. He wakes up and chooses violence every single morning.
That's right, ladies. and just for that subscription of $5.99, you can have 30 days of unlimited access
to George G Money
Get it now while the exclusive content is still available until October 30th.
Dude,
that has been in the news here. I found out this weekend. I did not know that they're about to shut down the explicit content portion of OnlyFans.
That is true. That is true.
And guess what? Neither did the people that were on OnlyFans. We all found out at one time.
I'm just saying, why? What's the impetus behind this? What sparked this?
Okay.
You know, and how are they doing it legally? Isn't it legally? I mean, isn't OnlyFans like a personal business? Someone owns that. It's not like this is some government corporate entity. We can take a photo and say we got to shut you down.
Okay, and if you give me like two seconds here, Ryan, I can actually.
All right. I'll give you the full screen, and then we'll get back to UFC.
Before he goes there, I just want to tie this into the show, how this is MMA related, because there are so many ladies in the MMA world that use OnlyFans as a source of income. So I think this is definitely tied into something we should have had on the run sheet. But go ahead.
All right, here we go. John Keys, okay. You got the center square.
All right, so there's only two reasons why that OnlyFans is actually kicking off the adult content of their base, and that's because of investors and because of payment and payment type. Because if you remember with the Pornhub thing, and I bring up Pornhub, it's okay. What was that noise? Anyway, basically Visa and MasterCard and pretty much all the major payment vendors had took themselves away from them because they didn't want to be associated with that. OnlyFans doesn't want that for them, so they said for now we're going to cancel that part of our business and try and focus on the regular part. But that's kind of a it's gonna be a bite to them more than anything, because let's put it out there, there's a lot of money that was flowing through them during the COVID. I'll just say that OnlyFans was truly the COVID relief.
Oh, golly. Let's get back to the action. Trevin Jones was defeated by guillotine choke. He let himself go to sleep. He was defeated by Said Yokub Kakramanov.
Congratulations. Yes.
Boom. Come on, George. Said Yokub Kakramanov.
All right. So yeah, Trevor let himself in that, man. I mean, it was just like he was just rolling, and it's like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna. Oh, I passed out.
Yeah,
oh.
He was like, it's closing in. I'm getting tunnel vision. You know what? I should probably tap. Nah, I'm not tapping.
Yeah, it was it. Oh my goodness.
Parker Porter defeated Chase Sherman via unanimous decision. Clay Guida came back into action, but he was defeated by Mark Madsen, the Olympian, via split decision 29-28, 28-29, and 30-27.
Okay, before we go any further, I'm gonna forgive you for passing over those two fights like they were just two mediocre fights. Those two fights right there were true rock'em sock'em. Okay, the Porter fight, that right there, if it was like watching Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom when the two bisons collide and they keep bashing at each other. That's exactly what happened there. And Clay Guida went in there with nothing but energy and everything. He really tested Madsen. He put Madsen through the paces. It's just that Madsen was just ready for it. So yeah.
Madsen's 11-0. He's out looking for Gregor Gillespie because Gregor Gillespie says that he is the greatest wrestler in that division. And Madsen, of course, is a silver medalist in Greco-Roman. So he's like, okay, let's see what you got. But in this fight, Clay Guida is not a slouch. Even though he's been in the fight game for a very long time, he's now eclipsed 6 hours of octagon time. And so he has been there for a long time. I can't do anything for 6 hours. So I get like 6 hours of sleep. That's about it. Clay Guida has fought for 6 hours in his career in the UFC. And so he is not a slouch. He definitely brought the game to Mark Madsen. Mark was saying that, George likes to talk about fighters coming in wet, meaning that they warmed up and they are sweating as they come to the ring. And so Madsen actually said that he was trying to execute a grappling game on Clay Guida, but he came to the ring soaking wet. So it was like he was already in the third round, just starting off the fight. And so when you face off a grappler, that's a great way to help defend yourself against some of the things that a grappler might want to do.
Hey, that works. Hey.
Did he say it was a positive or a negative for him?
Well, he ultimately said that he came in there expecting to have to grapple with Clay Guida, who is a wrestler in and of himself, right? But what ended up happening is that it became a stand-up, and he was able to kind of finish up, winning the stand-up, and that's how he got the win. So, great fight. Anytime Clay Guida's in it, it's going to be rock'em sock'em and lots of action. Did y'all see the video that I posted of Clay Guida burping between rounds?
No, but that's what he does.
He does
that constantly. Okay, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with your digestive tract that you can burp like that, much less burp like that in an adrenaline rush, much less burp like that in an adrenaline rush in the middle of a fight. I don't get it.
He sounds like a bullfrog. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And in the main event of the evening, Jared Cannonier defeated Kelvin Gastelum via unanimous decision, 48-47, 3-2 on all three cards. You know what? I got to say, Kelvin Gastelum, we were talking about him last week. Kelvin Gastelum is a great fighter. He's just, it seems like he gets right up to that level, that rarefied air, puts on a great performance, but then falls short. And this is what happened again last night, where Kelvin Gastelum was in Jared Cannonier's face. He was doing a lot of movement and really trying to put the pressure to gas out Cannonier. Cannonier's trying to execute his game, trying to land the big shots, lands a big one in the third round, sits Kelvin Gastelum down, and I believe that tomorrow or sometime this week, there's going to be an announcement that Kelvin Gastelum is going to be going to see the doctor for a potential ACL tear or some other type of knee injury, because when Cannonier sat him down in the third round, you saw his knee bend in that Crow Cop position whenever Crow Cop got knocked out by Gabriel Gonzaga.
Ooh,
And
I
then
didn't see that.
When you watch Kelvin Gastelum in the fourth round and in the fifth round, he's still moving and he's still shooting for takedowns. But if you watch that left leg that was bent kind of crazy, you'll see that he's just kind of dragging it. He's kind of keeping it stiff. There was clearly that leg was compromised. He fought in I think he was in a in southpaw position just to keep that on his back leg. I don't know if he's a natural southpaw or not, but it was definitely something that I was watching in the fourth and fifth round.
Okay.
Okay.
I told y'all earlier I had nothing for you on this. I didn't get a chance to watch the fights. I felt that volleyball toss-up that you gave me there, but I just,
I saw that.
I was really tossing it up for John Keys, since he went in on the Parker Porter and the Clay Guida fight. Figured he was going to have something for me for the main event. He's like,
I was like, I just looked at the ball with George, like, hey, look at it there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, look, that's okay. That's okay. The thing is now is that Jared Cannonier is going to have to wait for the results of Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker, which is going to happen perhaps later this year or maybe early next year. They think that it may have to go into 2022 by the time, because Delta variant and Lambda variant are now things. Then Kelvin Gastelum, he went to social media today and he just talked about the fact that, he's still making a step closer, even though he lost, small changes, and he could potentially be on another run. He's only 29 years old. He's still got tons of time to make that run for the gold. And I think he's going to get there. He has the chin. He's got the gas tank, and he's got the determination to be a champion someday. So I'm looking forward to seeing Kelvin Gastelum take gold. But first, this is Jared Cannonier's night, and I hope that he is able to fight the winner of Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. But he may have to take a fight while he waits.
That could be possible. I do like any matchup with Cannonier versus either Adesanya or Whittaker. That's going to be a nice one. Okay. As far as Gastelum, you're right. He's 29, got plenty of time. Rome was never built in a day. And anybody that harps on him, or if UFC is stupid enough to release him, hey, Bellator or ONE FC would be more than happy to pick him up. Okay.
Yep.
Just don't do BKFC just yet. Not yet.
Just yet.
Not
Hey,
yet.
well,
I'm not down on them. I'm not down on them because they're slowly but surely coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm
much
there
to my
for
chagrin, right?
I
So-
told you.
Before we finish wrapping up this fight, I want to go ahead and make sure that we put two guys on the radar. I don't know if we're going to get on the hype train yet. I got the hype train button ready for you in the event that you that you want to go ahead and be one of the early riders on these hype trains. But William Knight, I don't know what his nickname is, but his nickname should be Good. William Good Knight, because he knocked out Fabio Chiron via knockout at 358 in round number 1. This dude was stepping back and did a little check left hook, caught the guy, not a Czech Congo left hook, but a check left hook, and caught this guy right on the chin, put him out face down on the mat, and then did a round off backflip to celebrate. This guy is built like a frickin' brick oven.
Yes. Nightmare is his nickname, and yeah. Okay. We're there for the violence.
I mean, I'm there. I'm there. Of the three of us, only one of us wakes up and chooses violence every morning.
Of course. We saw two people behind you limp away.
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
George, we
They
saw
were
that.
keeping their distance. I saw them. They were
Yeah.
keeping their distance, man. I tried to go full screen on George whenever they were walking by. I was like, look how much breath they give him, man. It's like the lion on the savannah. He's like there with the big mane, and they're just like, we got to keep our distance. This is his territory.
Exactly.
Strange enough that you should mention those two gentlemen walking by. One of them was our jiu-jitsu coach. His name's Gilson Nunez. World class jiu-jitsu coach, world class jiu-jitsu player, man. If you don't know him, you need to go check his Instagram. You need to find out who he is. He is one of the best jiu-jitsu players out there in the world right now. He's right here in Dallas teaching at this gym, man. So if you're in the jiu-jitsu game and you want to up your jiu-jitsu level, this is where you need to come check it out.
All right. Hey,
okay.
But you know what? I think you're going the same place I'm going, John Keys. This dude's world-class jiu-jitsu guy, still keeping his distance.
Exactly. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, please understand that George didn't even turn around. He felt their presence walking by them at that
force,
distance.
Man. It's the force.
I'll tell you, last time I saw that, it was Akuma of Street Fighter Generations.
There it is.
Or Grappler. Or if you're in the Grappler Baki, it's the Ogre. Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are adding a new term to the drinking game here at Sports Combat Sports Talk. If we mention Street Fighter, if you hear any reference to Street Fighter,
it's a drink.
It's a drink.
Oh man, we're trying to give people cirrhosis of the liver at this point. Okay, I mean, have you guys thought about that? Please drink responsibly with just water, please, people. All right.
So William Knight isn't the only name that made an appearance last night. There's a guy. His name is Ignacio Bahamundes. He's from Chile, and this is a guy that Bilal Muhammad and Paul Felder both said they don't like facing this guy in the gym. Like, he was not a UFC fighter, and this dude was whooping them, and they were UFC fighters. He's like, I think it was Bilal Muhammad said, it was playing with my mental state, because I got this guy in my gym who is beating me up, and I'm like, if I can't beat this guy and he's not even on the UFC roster, how am I going to beat these guys on the UFC roster? Well, now Ignacio Bahamundes is on the UFC roster, and he is now in the UFC record books as the 10th guy in the history of the UFC to win a fight via knockout due to a wheel kick. This is the wheel kick. Is that Edson Barboza, Terry Edom knockout? The Uriah Hall knockout from The Ultimate Fighter. Like, it is that highlight knockout where when your foot hits the head of the guy is asleep before he even hits the ground. Roosevelt Roberts was doing a great job. You know, he had Bahamundes cut up. The guy was bleeding, and next thing you know, even though Bahamundes was winning the fight, Roberts went to sleep and didn't get to see the cards. I don't think it was going to come out in his favor anyway, but Bahamundes defeated Roberts via knockout due to wheel kick at 4:55. 5 seconds left in round number 3. There it is. That is UFC Vegas 34, Cannonier versus Gastelum. We're going to go ahead and close the book on this one, put this one on the shelf, because this card is history. Now, let's get into the things that are making waves in the UFC world with Finding the Angles. All right, this is Finding the Angles, and the number one thing I want to talk about this week is, where has George G Money Stallworth been? This is our headliner. All right, sometimes we have headliners that are big news, like Conor McGregor threw a dolly through a window, and sometimes it's George G Money Stallworth is back in Dallas, and we want to know what you've been up to, sir. So tell us about what you've been doing in the past week. I know there are two big things, but I want to go with the thing that took you an entire week of your life. Go ahead.
Well, so I had the privilege of attending what's called the Coaches Clinic. It's put on out in Dublin, California at Combat Sports Academy. Boom, see, I'm branded today. By Coach Kieran Fitzgibbons. It is a wonderful clinic for coaches and fighters alike as well. an opportunity for us to get together, network, share information. Kirian puts together, I guess, multiple seminars or blocks of seminars from different striking phenoms or MMA phenoms from all over the world. He brings in world-class players. Since I've been to 2 of them now, but this most recent one on Friday, we had TJ, the Thinking Man, Charles Johnson, present a block basically on clinch. On Saturday, we had Ryan's favorite fighter, Henry Cejudo, come in, and he presented a block on MMA striking and just the science behind, fighting in general.
You had Henry Cejudo, like Henry,
your favorite fighter, Ryan, your
Henry,
favorite
the
fighter.
king of cringe.
The king of cringe. Isn't there another name you had for him?
I didn't have any other name.
Champ?
No, double champ. Double champ. I call him double champ.
Oh,
Double champ.
You starting it like that? Okay.
I'm just saying.
Henry, the views expressed by the host and the owner of Combat Sports Talk are not shared by all of his what would you call us, co-hosts.
We got a button for it.
Solely the opinion of the speaker and does not reflect the opinions of anyone else on the Combat Sports Talk podcast or anyone affiliated with this program.
There you go.
It's that guy. It's that guy over there. Okay, that guy.
I'm curious. I'm curious as to what knowledge Henry Cejudo would impart to the clinic. But before I do, I just want to ask, just for the listeners out there, you talked about going to a coaching clinic. What are some of the benefits of going to a coaching clinic, and then we'll get back to what possibly Henry Cejudo might say, that besides this is how you steal a belt from Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
Oh, wow.
Benefits of going to a coach's clinic like this. Number one, the sheer networking aspect of it, the sharing of information, the sharing of knowledge, the teaching element behind it, man. This is such what Kirian has done is very special. Most of us in this fight world, we tend to be to ourselves. We tend to be loner individuals. Even though you have fight teams and things like that, when you step into that cage, you're in there alone, that kind of thing. And so a lot of that mentality bleeds over into other aspects of our lives. But again, to be able to bring us all together and allow that sharing of information I think it goes a long way to improving these individuals as coaches. He is helping to make other coaches better. We do it all the time by letting fighters, not gym hop, but come to different gyms, go get your striking over here, go get your jiu-jitsu over here, go check on your wrestling over here and things like that. Why shouldn't coaches be doing that same thing? Hey, I'm a great Muay Thai coach, but I'm trying to, transition into MMA. I need to go learn from some MMA coaches. I need to understand the way the MMA works. So, I think that in and of itself is a great reason for coaches to attend clinics like this, to understand that there are different parts and elements that need to be put together to fix this puzzle.
That's awesome. All right. So one of the people. Oh, go ahead.
Not that you said some of the benefits, right?
Oh, so that's one of the benefits. All right.
That is definitely one of the benefits. Number two, you get a status check for where you are in this game. Fighters as a whole are consistently seeking validation. I think that is the majority of the reason most individuals decide to fight. They're seeking some form of validation. And again, with coaches, pretty much not all, but some, probably a vast majority, coming from a fighting background themselves, you can't help but say we're seeking validation. Me as a coach, I want to validate whether or not the techniques that I'm teaching will work in a live setting. I want to validate that, the information I'm trying to pass on to my students is being received well and being put to use. So I'm constantly questioning myself and my validity as a coach. And then on top of that, because you see so many phony fraud coaches out there who, are just making this up as they go along or shouldn't be in the game. That was another thing I really got to see at this clinic. Like I said, where I stood in the process, and also that everybody in this game probably shouldn't be.
Anything else?
I'm trying to think, what other benefits did I get out of this clinic? Personally, as a fighter, I definitely feel like I leveled up. I got to work with some high-level coaches there. I got to work with some high level fighters. I got to play around and flow with my absolute favorite Muay Thai fighter.
Which
It was
is
a wonderful Eddie Abasalo, man. Don't play. You know better.
I look
Silky smooth Eddie, baby boy.
Here's the thing. I know because I hang out with you all the time. The listeners don't know. So if you say I got to hang out with my favorite MMA fight, my favorite Muay Thai fighter, I'm like, you still got to tell the listeners who it is. So
Yeah.
Eddie,
So,
it's
Eddie
Eddie
Abasalo. Yep.
Abasalo. Okay, there you go.
Also known as Silky Smooth.
Silky Smooth and G Money. All right, man. That sounds like a nice, really cool, like 70s crime show. Silky Smooth and G Money. All right, so let's get back to to what I was clowning about. Mr. Cejudo, sir. I'm only making jokes here.
Well, I did want to give you a couple more things about the clinic. Okay. I'm sorry. I know I keep starting and stopping. So Henry Cejudo was on day 2. We also had on day 3 Greg Wooten. But in between those, we had other little clinch blocks. And one of the blocks that I really enjoyed was from a Muay Thai coach by the name of Miesha Tate. Another one that you should go out and check out on Instagram if you get a chance. I got to do a private session with him, and his pad work was phenomenal. I can't help but feel like I leveled up in that, as far as him teaching me how to hold pads, as well as me having an opportunity to strike with such a high level pad holder, someone whose fight IQ is so much better than mine. So that was an experience in itself, getting to work with him. But anyway, back to your favorite fighter on the planet, the Triple C himself, the king of cringe, Henry Cejudo. What would you like to know?
Well, so I'm going to go ahead and steal a little bit of thunder. When you got back from this clinic, you were raving about Henry Cejudo and how technical and how much of a science he has made this, and how he's looking at his respirations, and he's looking at all these other things that we as fans and perhaps many fighters don't think about. So will you talk about some of the things that he talked about that really just kind of lit a light bulb over you?
Yeah. So Henry, from what I gathered in conversing with him and hearing him run his portion of the block, he breaks everything down into a science, no matter how minute or how insignificant it may seem. One of the things that really struck me, he told me, like, in between rounds, he wants his cornerman icing down or working on his shins so that he could go out right after that and not have to necessarily feel or deal with the damage that might have been caused by him throwing his kicks the prior round. That is a very fine, minute way to look at this process. And he does that in just about everything he does, man. He broke down the science of how he trains throughout the weeks, leading up to a camp, and different little mini camps and things like that taking place within the camp. Hell, he even told me on his sparring days, like, he will play music and basically simulate the actual walk to the ring, things like that. Just things that are so small and finite that most fighters probably don't even get the opportunity to pay attention to, back to breaking it down. He's like a scientist in the lab when it comes to this, man. He spoke about the way he approached his fight with Dominic Cruz, and how he knew, certain elements of what Cruz was doing and was going to get into, and how he game planned to overcome or deal with the problems that would have arisen as a result of Dominic Cruz's footwork, man. And it was just beautiful to hear him teach this block on basically the science behind the fight game, and how skillful you have to be, because this is a game of inches when you get to certain levels. There's not a lot more improvements an individual can make as far as his own person, but there are all these other ways to shave off time, to shave off, just other little factors that can edge you out at this game of inches.
And John Keys is asking a question, but I don't have any audio from him. So,
all right, my bad. I'm trying to give George his speaking time. All right. So, with all that said and done, what was the one moment where it blew your mind when with all the coaches and everything, all the clinics that you had? I mean, that it blew your mind. So like you had that Doctor Strange moment when he gets hit and his soul goes out and then it comes back. What was that moment for you while you
Out
were
of the
there?
entire clinic, or you mean the Cejudo
The
block?
entire clinic. The
Entire
entire
clinic.
clinic.
Yeah.
Uh, the one takeaway that I got was more so as a fighter. I feel like it was this particular drill that Coach Kirian uses with his fighters. He's coined this term called bistandral, and I'm one of the fighters that is, I guess that's really a part of my game. I like to fight both southpaw and orthodox. For those of you who don't know that typically fighters fight in one stance. So if anything out of that, a mind-blowing piece that I got out of that clinic was some different ways for me to switch my stance, unbeknownst to my opponent. And even since working this drill, I've gone on to find different ways to add, my own personal flair or my own personal techniques, or ways that I want to, or different weapons I want to use in my stance switches. So that was definitely like a light bulb moment, something I had never really thought about before, something that I picked up out of here, and something that's definitely going to elevate me in the fight game.
Cool.
All right.
I'm good.
So
I'm there for it.
So last question, and then we'll move on. I heard you had a little bit of challenge getting back to the state of Texas, that perhaps you were a little bit too dangerous for the Lone Star State, and Mother Nature tried to keep you in California.
Did they register his hands for lethal weapons now?
That's right.
Is that what happened?
That's right.
Well, there's a PG version of this story, and there's the R rated, or the R rated version of the story. I'm going to try to break down the PG version. So on my flight back was supposed to be on Tuesday morning. Get to the airport and everything's going well. Get on the flight. We're taxiing up to the runway, getting ready to take off, and I hear the engines kind of shut down. Woo! We're like, ladies and gentlemen, small, little, maybe 5-10 minute delay, something like that, and we're gonna be taking right off. All right, no big deal. That's pretty common in the flight game, right? Take off. My first stop is in Orange County, California. I'm trying to make it to Dallas, so we were going to go from San Jose to Orange County, and then from Orange County into Dallas. Kind of backwards, but I understand it. They just need to go pick some folks up. We get to San Jose. It's not supposed to be a plane change or anything like that. They're just going to prop some people on board, and we're off. We're out of here. Get to San Jose. They say, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to deboard you and put you on another plane. I'm like, all right, no big deal. I'm still thinking I'm on my way to Dallas next. Get off, go over to the ticket gate. And they said, well, we can't send you straight to Dallas right now, Mr. Stallworth. So what we're going to do, we're going to send you back to San Jose, the place you just came from, that you spent an hour on a plane and you just came from. I'm like, really?
Oh,
is that how we're doing this today? Okay, I'm going back to San Jose. Get ready to get back on the plane. I think I'm in the line, and they tell us, nope, plane to San Jose has been canceled, Mr. Stallworth. Go back and talk to the ticket folks again.
Okay.
It's not over. It's not over. It's not over
This
by a
gets
long
long
shot.
and drawn out. I don't even want to say the name. I don't even want to say the name of the airline, but most of you probably already know. Anyway, I go back to the ticket counter, and the lady tells me, yeah. And then I'm told, Mr. Stallworth, we're sorry for the inconvenience. We're going to get you out of here as quick as we can. The earliest flight I have out is 5:49 this evening. As she tells me this, I receive a text. It says the earliest flight out of there that I can take is going to be 7:49. I don't know how the link up between the two did or didn't go. So I'm conversing with her, and she's like, but problem is, I got to send you to Austin, Texas. I said, okay, well, that doesn't sound too bad. I'm figuring I'm still going to get a flight out of Austin into Dallas because it's only an hour away. She's like, but unfortunately, Dallas is basically shut down right now. There's a thunderstorm or something going on in Dallas, and we're not letting anyone land there. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. So she's like, you're going to have to spend the night in Austin. And guess what, Mrs. Salt? We can't get you a room. There are no rooms available.
Wow.
About 5 minutes into having this conversation with her, I just received a text that said, actually, the flight, she told me 5:49 was 7:49. I get another text that says, nope, the flight now is 9:30 p.m.
So when'd you start to leave?
I've been at the airport. I've been at a airport rather since like 11 o'clock that morning.
And now it's 9:00 p.m.
Yeah. Well, no, that's when the flight can go out. 9:30, mind you.
Wow.
And these are the only options I have. So this flight at 9:30 is going to land in Austin at, they said it's 1:30, I think, something like that. Unbeknownst to me, she didn't tell me, that flight that leaves at 9:30 is going to make a stop in Las Vegas. Vegas, baby.
Say hi to Dana White for me.
Go ahead, and I make the flight there in Orange County. I finally leave in Orange County at 9:30, whatever time it was at night. Land in Vegas at whatever time. I get in Vegas, and I promise you, when I heard the pilot come on and say, "Ladies and gentlemen," I was like, "Oh no, you are kidding me! Like, this is not happening." Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on a flight and you're trying to fly into Austin, Texas tonight, your flight has been rebooked, and you need now to go see the ticket counter. Something to that effect. I could not believe it, brother. This was ridiculous. I go and talk to them. The lady tells me, "Okay, we're going to put you on this flight. It's over at this gate, blah, blah, blah." She told me gate C6 is what I heard. She actually meant C16. Me at this point being so skeptical of this particular airline at this point, because I'm receiving conflicting texts, I'm receiving conflicting messages, just the whole nine. And there's a whole nother piece to this, John Keys, that you don't know about that I have to tell you about off air.
Yeah, you
but
gotta
anyway,
tell that part. That's after the show. You can't talk about that.
Yeah, that's
part.
the after party. So I make this flight out of Las Vegas, finally into Austin, Texas. I get there probably about 2:00 in the morning, and I have to go down and claim my bags, go outside of the gate, and that morning wait until 6:30 to check back in, check my bags that this airline has had me waiting on all day. Just some things that let me not tell people how to do their job, because I don't want people telling me how to do mine. Anyway, so get to Austin, wake up the next morning, go down, recheck my bags, get everything ready to go. Boom. Flight has been delayed again, ladies and gentlemen. You will now be departing at 7 a.m. 5 minutes later, you will now be departing at 7:30 a.m. This is an hour-long flight. I think I landed in Dallas at 9:45, something like that.
Almost 24-hour trip. Almost
Yes.
a 24-hour trip from when you started to when you finally landed. And John Keys is still on mute.
I am still on mute. Man, you could have called me and I could have came got you, dog. Come on, man. From
Dude,
Austin.
Me and a couple of other people that were on the same path, I guess, we thought about renting a car, but by the time we got to Austin, all of the rental places were closed. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
It was an experience, to say the least, man. I can appreciate now why some people choose. Well, I wouldn't say that, because the delays were the delays, even if they had chosen first class. But I can understand why some people prefer that executive experience.
All right. So there you go. Now, the question that I have for you is, did you ever feel like crying at any point?
Oh, there were several times. Several times I wanted to cry on that day of the flights.
Well, the reason why I ask you is because we talk about the mantra of this show is the man in the arena. This is a hearkening back to, somebody want to hop in on something?
No, go ahead. I'm glad you segued into that.
So we call, we talk about the fact that the mantra of this show is the man in the arena. Yes, it is our job to critique, what happens in the ring. We try to keep this lighthearted and funny, so we do make cracks. But at the end of the day, what you have is you've got someone in George G-Money Stallworth who is an active, amateur Muay Thai kickboxer, and he's a coach. You got, John Keys, who's military. You got me and Kelechi, who have literally gotten into the ring and fought each other, at least twice. And And, we all respect what goes on in the ring. So regardless of whether or not I'm cracking on Henry Cejudo or Czech Congo, making fun of Angie Overkill Hill or whatever, at the end of the day, tremendous respect for us to those fighters who actually do it at a high level, every single day of the year. But what happened this past week was something that really touched me. And one of my favorite fighters, and I know that he's a favorite of yours too, is Daniel D.C. Cormier. And Daniel was talking about, the fact that, people have lampooned him and made fun of him for crying after his fights because, he lost to John Jones, and John Jones is a huge rival of his. And, he even famously said in a pre-fight interview that John Jones would not kick him in the head and knock him out. And sure enough, in the rematch, which is let's see, right there. Look at that over my shoulder. That rematch of that fight, John Jones indeed kicked him in the head and knocked him out. And Daniel Cormier cried. Daniel Cormier cried after he lost to Stipe Miocic both times. And people have done the whole Michael Jordan crying face on Daniel Cormier because of the fact that he is so emotional. So he finally this week responded to those people, and I want to share that with you if I can. Is that all right if I share that with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. So here we go. Hopefully this will work. Nope. That is the wrong screen. Let's try this one. Nope, that is the wrong screen again. Give me. I
promise y'all, we're professional.
Give me just what you're seeing is behind the scenes. But hold on, let me give. But that's the thing that I want to talk about is the fact that we talk about all the time the these fighters being emotional, and so that's what I want to get at. Here it is. This is Daniel Cormier talking about the crying. Here we go. And of course you can't hear it. Let me try it now.
Ryan?
Yeah?
We can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No,
okay.
No. This is a Get Smart Kona.
Oh, this is kind of one of those things, huh? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wonder
you're gonna have to talk about it.
Okay. So what he's saying, you can see the video though, right?
Yes, we see the video.
See the video
okay,
fine.
You can see the video fine. Okay. All right. All right. So why is that not? Oh, I know why it's not working. Okay, give me just 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. As Ryan
John,
is sitting there.
Let me finish telling you about this clinic, though, man.
Okay.
So some other things that I got to do while at the clinic. Physical therapy, man. Went to this physical therapist. It's called Up Speed Performance over in Dublin, California, or Pleasanton, California. Phenomenal place, man. I got a lot of body work done. I felt like a brand new fighter walking out of there. This guy really.
Don't sit there and brag with the shoulders there. I can't do that yet. So, all right. Forget you for that, man.
All right, I got it queued up now. You guys should be able to hear it now. This is Daniel Cormier talking about it. Hopefully it's not too loud. Might want to turn down your audio if it's a little too loud. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
First thing I want to do is bring his photo back. There we go. And this was on his podcast, DC and RC.
Every time people laughed at me when I cried when Jones beat me in Anaheim, or I cried when Stipe got me, or I cried after my last fight, those tears are earned. Those tears are earned. Yeah. You don't get to cry straight for nothing. Yep. Those tears are earned through hard work. It's because I put so much of myself into everything that those tears are earned. So when you see athletes like Paige, or you see Naomi Osaka say, I just can't do this, it's so much bigger because so much goes into preparing yourself for an actual competition, for something at the professional level. There's a reason that it's called professional. That 52nd guy on that NFL roster will smash anybody that you've ever seen and called a great football player. That guy that's number 12 on the bench on the basketball team, he is the best basketball player you have ever laid eyes on in your life. There's a reason these athletes are professionals. And there's a reason that these people that go inside the octagon, man, woman, whoever goes into there, are professional fighters because they are different. And when they are different and they cry in front of you to be judged for the world, they have put so much work. And those tears are earned in that work. So when you see people just rushing to the back, saying it's okay, is because they know deep within themselves they don't deserve, they have not earned the ability to cry over the loss.
There you have it, folks. There you have it.
That's the long and the short right there.
Yeah, and so I really thought that was a very powerful statement. And you know, it was definitely something that that touched me, because it was like, yeah, you're right. Once you start looking at all the sacrifice that a person makes, and then they don't achieve their goal, they left it in the ring. The only thing that they have left is that emotion, you know? And so, you know, while we have the man in the arena, I think the next thing that we're going to add to this is those tears are earned. So I want to get both of your reactions, you know, to what Daniel Cormier said, because I think that it says a lot about, you know, how we crack joke at some of these fighters sometimes, the way that they lose and how they react to something. But at the end of the day, he's right. They have put everything that they can into this, and when it doesn't turn out their way, those tears are indeed earned. So anybody that, you know, just jump in. What do you think?
I think it's absolutely correct, man. Anyone in this fight game, you know, that is the absolute truth that Daniel Cormier spoke. We get to see the physical things that we invest in this. You know, you get to, when, you know, on fight night, you get to see the body that this person has created over time and things like that. What you don't get to see, what you don't get to feel, is the mental struggle, the mental battles that a fighter has gone through in order to put on that performance that you're about to see. And then on top of that, to lose, you know, so in our heads, we're having this conversation of, I've sacrificed things that people will never understand. I've put myself through what amounts to mental torture just so that I can have a strong mind and go through this. And then to lose on top of that, and to lose by devastation, such as being knocked out or things like that, in such a fashion that is also psyche damaging. I've been having a lot of real conversations with a lot of different fighters and coaches here lately. And there's been this common thing where we talk about the mental part of this game and how we come to it, what brings us to it. I spoke about it earlier when I was talking about validation and things like that. Most guys that you see who are fighters, we have some type of flaw or something that is wrong with us, and we're seeking that validation for. And I think that goes back to what Daniel's talking about here. You know, here I am putting myself out here in such a manner, and to lose on top of that only validates the fact that I believe this flaw about myself. You know, because I'm constantly seeking this perfect performance. I'm sorry, maybe I'm rambling on a little bit, but
this is exactly the conversation that I was hoping to have. John, what are your thoughts?
Okay. It's not just with. I know we focus this on professional sports. I'm willing to put it out even further and just put it out to all of life. There is nothing that is more devastating than doing something and putting yourself and making the preparation, putting in the hard work, putting in the time, the energy, the passion into it, and failing in the end. That is hard. That hurts. And you know, anybody, and you know, we look at these athletes and we think of them as being a spectacle. We don't understand. You know, it's very few people truly understand everything that they do to entertain us, and that goes from anybody from being a musician to an athlete to anybody that goes out every day and work hard to achieve something. Okay. A wise man once said that the hardest lesson you'll ever learn is to do everything right and still not succeed. And that is exactly what it is. You don't, you know, there's nothing that hurts you more that goes out there and put all the hard work, the dedication, the hard work and courage, the blood, sweat, and tears, put it all on the line and still not get it. There's nothing. And anybody that sits there and says that it doesn't hurt that way, they don't understand the sacrifice.
And to have to answer for some of those sacrifices you made after a loss. I think that's another key thing that happens as well. You know, we forget about a fighter after a fight. When a fighter wins, we win. When a fighter loses, at some point, that individual is going to be by himself, alone in his thoughts at some point, at some time over the next 24 hours or whatever. Nobody else is going to be there to comfort that person in that manner. He's going to have to deal with those thoughts alone, and he or she is going to have to engage in such a period of self-reflection about the sacrifices I've made in order to not achieve my goals. That is going to sting just as bad, if not worse, than anything once they take that moment to themselves, and or to go ahead and answer for those calls and decisions that an individual has made. That's a part that we as fans don't get to see. That's a part that we as coaches can't really comfort or deal with, because you never know what is going on in the fighter's head. You know, I'm so glad here recently to be talking to different fighters about the mental part of this game, man. While I was out in Cali, I got to have those conversations with Eddie. I got to have those conversations with a couple of my other, fellow coaches. I got to have those conversations here recently with one of my friends who's also a fighter. I've gotten to have that conversation here recently with another one of my teammates who's a high-level fighter. And I found it's been a consistent theme about the mental aspect of this fight game and how it can diminish you as a person or how it can make you a better fighter. But I'm really becoming a huge proponent of fighters, especially fighters who find themselves dealing with those errant thoughts, is all I can call them, spontaneous errant thoughts. Go and talk to a sports psychologist. Go and talk to someone who is sports specific and can help guide or assist you throughout your career. At the last coaches clinic prior to this one, we had I guess you call him a sports coach there, or a mental coach there. His name is Vinny Shorman. You get a chance, go check him out on Instagram. And even at that clinic, you know, he gave me some things that I'm doing to this day to help myself prepare for competition and performance.
Yeah, you know, and we talked about this on the show, probably last year or maybe even the year before, where when Israel Adesanya was going to fight Robert Whittaker for the title, what did he do? Before he even stepped in the ring against Robert Whittaker for that title, he went and saw a psychologist and a therapist and started working on his mental state of if he becomes champion, in which he was fairly confident that he would. When he becomes champion, how does he manage the stress and the additional expectations on him and still remain himself? So, it's been paraphrased a million times, but they always say that sports are 2% physical, 98% mental, or whatever. And I think that as pure as the fight game is, what we find is that it is increasingly proven and validated over and over again how important the mental, the mental ability to constrain and to control those negative thoughts, especially while you're facing adversity, so that you can perform, is important in this game. So I think it's a fascinating thing. We should probably do an entire show, maybe even bring on a therapist to say, hey, let's talk about some of the things that that fighters can do to prepare. Maybe we can reach out and see if we can't get that the person that you just mentioned.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'll reach out, see what we can do.
All right, let's move on. this was something that was hot on our internal thread this week. Miesha Tate reveals around 98% of her salary from UFC Vegas 31 was spent on training. Now, she got a $200,000 check. She said that the $200,000 payout for her finish of Marion Renault left her with only about $4,000 after she paid for all of the training and the coaches and everything like that. She even got a bonus. So it was a whole bunch of money that got allocated right after she walked out of Las Vegas. And so people were like, wait, how did she mismanage that so badly? So what were your initial reactions when you saw that Miesha Tate blew $200,000 paying all these people that she used to get ready for Marion Renault?
It's called paying bills. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, that it doesn't go any different than that. All right, you got to pay your bills, people. All right, she paid her bills, and taxes are gonna eat her alive, because it was like maybe half. I think it was half at 100,000 or even more so. But then you got to pay for the coaches, got to pay for your nutrition during the time. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, she had $4,000 left. I like to have $4,000 left out of my paycheck.
All right,
dude. I'll give you my take on it. We go to college, we have to pay for that, right?
Right.
Yep.
That's what happened here. Miesha went to improve and to pick up and garner new skills, or the ability to perform in her chosen field or profession. And that's what happened here. She went to school, she obtained the information, degree, or whatever she wanted to obtain, and now she went and performed in her chosen field of or profession. It was money well spent in that sense. Yes, could there have been cheaper ways? I'm sure we could all find ways she could have cut corners on $200,000. But at the end of the day, that's what happened in my take. And I get it. As a coach, I want to be well compensated for the information that I impart on individuals who go out and take my information and make money. I think that's a fair want of a coach, or a fair desire for any coach. I'd like to be compensated for my time and input, especially if I help you obtain the best you can be. So I get it, and this is not inexpensive. Coaching, for me, is not a lucrative job either, though. My time is worth money. But that's my take on it.
All right. Well, for me, I definitely see that, but I think where my mind went to is, if it costs Miesha Tate $200,000 to prepare for Marion Renault, what does that mean about what a fighter needs to do to become a champion in the UFC? Is this going to create a have and have nots, that if you're getting paid, $8,000 or $10,000 on a UFC card, what happens to, if you've got to face somebody who's bringing in the best coaches, the best nutrition, got all of this other stuff behind them? I gotta imagine that the additional funds for preparation puts you in a better position to win. And is that something that's going on behind the scenes, where now you've got a Division III football team playing against Alabama? And yeah, it's always possible. The fighter's chance, the punch can actually knock someone out. But at the end of the day, the lion will eat.
It goes back to what I said earlier, man. This is a game of inches, and so any advantage that you can create that puts you over the edge, you're going to have to take advantage of it. And that's what we see happening with this. Those individuals with the resources and can allocate the funds to get better training, better nutrition, better sleep, better recovery, are going to do better at some point.
Yeah, that's amazing to me, that the costs to do this right is so high. and so it becomes one of those things where this is a natural lead into a conversation that we have all the time about fighter pay. Like, is this one of those things where the people who are going to succeed in this sport are the ones who are making more over time? Or is it the fact that a fighter is going to make less money but still can perform well even if you don't have the best nutrition, the best coaches, and all of that kind of stuff? I think that there's a conversation that needs to be had about about how much budget you can throw to at your training.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of budget,
I just want to acknowledge, John, that was another toss up. We both looked at each other like,
yeah, I know. We're like, look at that over there. Yeah, look at that.
look, y'all are doing me zero favors today on this show, man. What's up with that? It's okay.
That was just such a heavy topic, though. I mean, I'm not gonna front. It was heavy. It's a sobering one. It is a counterpunch to the fighter pay topic, to a degree, because we always talk about how fighters aren't getting paid enough, and then we have Miesha Tate saying, "Look, this is how much I made. However, understand, I'm trying to be a champion, so I'm going to pay the premium to get where I want to get. I get what I pay for, and that's ultimately the lesson. You get what you pay for. We saw the performance. We saw how she did. She was no slouch for being out for 4 years, I think it was.
4 years.
Yeah. She wasn't a slouch. She actually looked like she just fought in January. So let's put it out there. She paid for it. She got the premium stuff. It was what it was. I'm not saying that I am dissing the fighter pay argument. I'm just saying that we need more clarity. There needs to be more transparency, and let's just be honest. That's what I'm saying.
As a fighter, I can speak to that. I train with some pretty high level guys from time to time, and there is a big or a huge gap in, I guess, the skill level increase that I experience when I train with high level people. Being around greatness will make you great. There's just no way around it. No way around it. And I think that's the philosophy that individuals should start taking, man.
All right. So and speaking about being around greatness, last night Manny Pacquiao got upset. He lost the fight, and he's been in he's seen a lot of greatness. He has been the author of a lot of greatness, but last night, he was defeated via, looks like, unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Against Yordenis Ugas, who retained his WBA welterweight title. So 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao was the favorite to win this fight.
Stop. Wait. Stop. You're telling me that Manny Pacquiao is younger than me. Is that what you just said?
Manny Pacquiao is younger than all of us. And
why do I think this man is so old?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we're like looking at Manny Pacquiao and we're like, his old ass need to retire. And then he's like 42.
You know what I was doing,
gentlemen? I need y'all to go back and recognize that in boxing, we do have those anomalies or whatever, but there's not many 42-year-olds walking around in boxing active at that level.
Right.
What did Vince Pichel 42-year-olds walking around at that level active?
What did Vince Pichel say again? I can't quote him because it's not an original quote from him. But beware of the old man in a profession where men die young. You got Manny Pacquiao, 42 years old, and this guy is fighting for a title, and then didn't get finished. He lost via unanimous decision. So it goes back to, you're right. He's an anomaly, and he said he's considering retirement because even though he started strong, he began to get leg cramps that affected his ability to move. and that was what basically cost him the fight. So it's ultimately the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. He knew what he needed to do, but because of age, perhaps, or whatever, he no longer can move the way he needs to execute the strategy that he wants.
I feel like there will be shots being fired at me across the bow over here.
I'm not at all.
But
not
that's all right. Boxing just tune in October 30th over at Cannabis 2. You will get to see.
Oh, did your opponent?
You will get to see what you want to see, Ryan. You will get everything you ask for.
I want to see it.
Hold on. Did your opponent man up? Did he man
I don't
up
know
this
who
time?
the opponent is. No disrespect to my opponent. I'm just telling you what I intend to do. Wow. All I can do is speak to what all I got is my side of the street. And I promise you, my side of the street is going to be great.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't catch that, I'm going to let y'all know that George G. Money Stallworth just said that he's willing to walk in the ring. He don't even care who his opponent is. He's just going to go in there and do some anger beating because his last opponent disappeared on him. Okay, so
well, the thing is, his last opponent found out that George G. Money Stallworth wakes up and chooses violence. There it is. It's on the shirt. It's on the shirt.
Let me show it again. Let me show it again. Let me show it again for you.
Right here. This is what he does. You just squat just a little bit so we can see the top of it.
Yeah.
There it is. He wakes up and chooses violence every single morning. George G. Money Stallworth is coming for you in October. Oklahoma Kickboxing Championships, OKC. That's where he's going to be. And
ladies and gentlemen, please,
it'll be on Fight TV.
And please take note that his hair, he is a little bit older than I am, and my facial hair is totally gray. Okay, and he is not.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at that. Now, don't get me wrong. This is all like bad decisions, Ordnance Corps in the United States military. Nieces and nephews right here. That's all this is. I'm just saying. George is looking younger and mightier than I.
Look how smooth he looks.
Yeah,
I appreciate the compliments. But again, like I said, October 30th. Tune in.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful violence. It's going to be
violence.
Deadly violence. It's going to be.
I mean, it's like, as far as Pac-Man, I get that. I get those leg cramps because I get up out the bed every morning and I catch a leg cramp. I'll be looking like a bad commercial of Aleve in the morning. When they got those red circles around their different body parts. Yeah. That meme of what a predator would look like at 12 seconds after me running, that's definitely what I look like. So, So yeah.
Well, when you're talking about you running from a predator in 12 seconds, somebody took a little bit longer, 4 minutes and 1 second, but they didn't escape the predator either, and that is Janiyah Fabian was defeated by Kayla Harrison in the semifinal of the PFL tournament. So Kayla Harrison, of course, is a two-time Olympic silver medalist in judo, and she is, many people are kind of comparing her to the dominance that Ronda Rousey showed at the very beginning of her career. Kayla Harrison is smashing folks, and people are waiting to say, is she going to go to the UFC after this? Because she is fighting at women's lightweight and heavyweight, but we think she might be able to make featherweight. We think she might be able to get some of that Amanda Nunes. We want to see Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I want to see somebody put the Lioness in some trouble. Hyena Pat.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you finish in a minute, Ryan, but first I'm going to need to correct you on my friend's name. Her name is Jenna Fabian. Just want to get that right. No.
Aaron Balake.
I get what you're saying, but no.
Jenna. There you go.
Back to the schedule program. Kayla Harrison in the UFC needs to happen. Problem is, at that weight class, who is she going to fight?
They just got to set up a super fight with Amanda Nunes, man. Make it an exhibition, something.
No, she's got to come in and earn that fight. I think. I don't want us to get into this habit of a Michael Chandler situation. Some new kid on the block comes over from some lesser promotion and they automatically get a title shot. That is not. Go ahead.
Well, I say that's a fair ploy for the incoming organization. That if you get somebody hot like that and they come in, guess what? You're putting your champion versus this newcomer. If the champion wins, well, you can always say, well, that was a young whippersnapper. He wasn't going to do anything. And if the newcomer wins, well, hey, that's because I saw that from a mile away. I knew what was going to happen. It's a win-win situation for Uncle Dana. All right, I agree with you.
I think this is an opportunity for us to turn the different promotions into more of a WBA, WBC, IBF, those type of situations. So like you could actually be the UFC champion and the Bellator world champion, or the ONE FC champion and the UFC champion, things like that. But I don't know, just my thoughts.
Well, it's one. Welcome back, Lapidolite. We haven't seen you in forever. But he's saying that Harrison might be making too much money in PFL. Those $1 million checks and running through folks for $1 million every year or every other year. That's not bad. That's not a bad living, to be honest. Maybe she's making too much money to be in the UFC, but I think that if she's able to take out Amanda Nunes, she's got to lose 20 pounds. But if she can lose 20 pounds and take out Amanda Nunes, bruh, like I think those $1 million checks become, movie deals, and those $1 million checks become access to WWE, and those $1 million checks become all those things that Ronda Rousey got. She's got the goods. Like there's not a single woman in PFL that's even coming close to stopping Kayla Harrison, and they haven't done it for 2 years.
Well, it just goes to show, man. I mean, is it something that needs to happen on the part of they need to revitalize it. That's just the long and the short. There needs to be a revitalization, or she needs to go somewhere, maybe like Invicta, maybe ONE, where we're seeing a dominant female fighting scene, or do Bellator. I don't know.
Well, we know that Ryzen is game for these cross promotions and things like that. So I don't know, man. I think it's an opportunity that's being overlooked and missed, and will in the end probably weigh out better on the UFC's behalf than anyone else.
Well, see, that brings me to one of my last stories here on the list, and that is that George St. Pierre went on a podcast and was talking. It was Ariel, I think it was Ariel's podcast, and was talking about the Oscar De La Hoya versus GSP fight that Dana White nixed. Remember, we talked about last week that Dana White allowed Chad Mendes, who still has fights on his contract with UFC, but he retired, go and fight BKFC. And John Keys communicated an unpopular opinion that the UFC doesn't respect BKFC, but they do respect the impact that Triller has on could have on the UFC and the stories around payment. So there was supposed to be a fight between George St. Pierre and Oscar De La Hoya, and Dana White was concerned. The headline reads, Dana thought Oscar would destroy me. George St. Pierre details how White shut down the De La Hoya bout. Basically, Dana White tried everything to keep George St. Pierre out of that ring, ultimately saying no, tried to give George St. Pierre a fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov, but Khabib wasn't having any of that. And so it was just an awkward, strange situation. So we don't really have time to go through all of it. Maybe we'll push it to next week's show, but definitely go and read it, get up to speed on it, because it's fascinating how the conversation between George St. Pierre, who still has 2 years left on his contract with the UFC. So in 2 years, at the age of 42, George St. Pierre is no longer under contract with GSP. GSP is no longer under contract with UFC, and so therefore he is free and clear to do whatever he wants. But maybe that is too late. Bruce Bob Trotter says literally nobody's interested in seeing GSP box anyone. Stupid fight and pointless. You may be right. I'm not going to dispute that. People are still interested in seeing GSP compete, though. It's the name. Fighting Oscar De La Hoya just is one of those freak show fights that perhaps we would talk about on this show because it's GSP, but people feel like GSP left the game too early. And as a result, if you're going to get to see him in the boxing ring or get to see him in a wrestling match or grappling, you get to see George St. Pierre compete again. And I think that's what a lot of people want to see.
I mean, people watch GSP not just because of the name, but because of the technical skills that he brings to the ring. I mean, he's not the, people complain that he was a boring fighter, but I say that crowd needs to. I think in the earlier days of of the UFC when GSP was fighting, the crowd was not hip to the game as we are now. Watching GSP fight now, I challenge anybody to watch those older fights, and I think you'll be more excited at watching those fights than you were before. And remember, GSP was the one that revolutionized the jab in MMA. Okay, thanks to Freddie Roach and Josh Koscheck being the recipient of said jab. Yeah,
it's my Josh Koscheck impression.
Yeah, that's pretty much on
broken
spot
orbital
on that.
Josh Koscheck.
Yeah, so anybody that says that you wouldn't want to see GSP boxing, I think I would like to see GSP boxing, just to see if he can absorb that discipline, as well as he absorbed wrestling, as well as he absorbed the basics of striking.
So Bruce says GSP should only fight MMA. Him versus Usman would be interesting. It would be interesting, but I don't think it's going to be all that competitive.
No, it'll be a murder.
I think Usman is too up on his game, and I think that he's too elite of a wrestler and a striker at this point. George St. Pierre having been gone for as long as he is, I don't think that you can challenge a guy who's at the apex of his game in a weight class that like welterweight. Maybe it would have been a more interesting fight for him to fight Habib, because Habib fought at 155. And so maybe you did a 165 kind of thing, because now George St. Pierre's a little bit bigger. But I don't think the fight with Usman would be any more than interesting. I think it wouldn't be competitive at all.
I'd like to see him versus. I'd like to see him versus Masvidal. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him versus. Yeah, I'd like to see him. Heck, I'd even like to see him versus Kobe Covington, just to see, because both of them have a huge gas tank. So that would be a nonstop fight. Just let them fight. Do the Gracie rules. No judge. Just let them go.
Yeah, let's just watch it. Just put a clock on it, and we'll let them fight for 10 minutes, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah. So last two stories. Number one, Muhammad Ali's progeny grandson, I believe, won a fight wearing his trunks. They actually pulled his trunks out of like the museum, handed it to him, and let this guy go in there and fight. This is the classic white with black trim trunks. Mm-hmm. His grandson gets in there, finishes the fight in the first round, and everybody's like, "Oh, isn't this great?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, hold on,
hold on, hit that button before you go any further, sir."
Here we go, right here.
What you just heard is solely the opinion of the speaker and does not reflect the opinions of anyone else on the Combat Sports Talk podcast or anyone affiliated with this program.
So here's what I'm going to say. If you're going to pull out Muhammad Ali, the late, greatest of all time, the first GOAT of combat sports, you're going to pull out his classic black and white trunks and give it to somebody, one or two things going to happen. Number one, you're going to give him a tomato can, because you can't afford this guy to lose a fight wearing these classic trunks that have been pulled out of storage, out of the museum, so he can fight in them. You can't give him like a killer. This isn't the Rumble in the Jungle. You're going to have to give this guy a tomato can. So why are we so excited?
Because we are seeing an heir come into the ring.
More like error.
No, not error. Heir. Okay, he is the heir apparent. Okay, I don't think Cassius Clay, before pre-Muhammad Ali, started fighting killers in the beginning, if I remember correctly. So When I gave him, the actual shorts of his grandfather, I don't think I would have, but I would have given him a facsimile. I gave him something from the gift shop.
Yeah, I'm with the gift shop. The fact that they gave him the actual ones just goes to show that they're trying to create some air of attention, trying to bring some spotlight on this guy. He's either gonna be great, or he's gonna have killers chasing after him, and you may not want to get blood on those historic shorts. I'm just saying, you may not want to get blood on them shorts.
I think there's gonna if he makes his 10th fight and he's 10-0 or 9-1. No, let's give him 10-0. Yeah, he's gonna have some killers coming for him real quick because everybody wants that name.
This is almost like freaking Creed. This is like Creed, like life imitating art. You got the grandson of the great fighter. Now everybody he's wearing the shorts. Maybe that's where they got the idea. Now he's wearing the shorts of his late father or grandfather, and he's winning fights. So now everybody's coming out. Like, come on, bro. Is that really? Did I just crack the code on this? Is this another one where Combat Sports Talk cracked the code? This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make Creed happen.
So this is
where was his fight shown?
Hold on.
I said,
I'll look.
Where was his fight shown? What promotion was it, and what app could you go to find the fight?
He fought August 14th in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Does it say who the promotion was, or was Fight TV involved? Was Triller involved? Like,
I think it was Fight TV, wasn't it?
He's signed with Top Rank Boxing. I'm doing some He trains under the same guy who trains Tyson Fury.
Not bad. Not bad. Are we going to talk about Czech Congo winning? Winning by submission?
All right, so that's the show. It was great. This is like that Saturday Night Live skit where it's like, oh, we ran out of time. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm kidding. We're not taking anything away from Muhammad Ali's grandson. No.
But speaking of people who who won a fight that nobody saw, Czech Congo.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's kind of one of the things. Let's wrap up. Nico Ali Walsh, that's the grandson of Muhammad Ali. He did win. He did win a fight against Jordan Weeks with a TKO in the first round in Oklahoma. It doesn't say where it was shown. He's just signed with Top Rank Boxing, so he's got. He's part of so I guess it was shown on a Top Rank Boxing event, but it was probably an undercard or something like that. It's just one of those things where it's like, is this really? Are we really pulling out the classic trunks, the originals, the ones that are? It's not a facsimile; they're the actual trunks. Like, why? So we'll keep our eye on it, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're trying to make a story where there's not one. Like, we just keep repeating the same thing over and over again.
Wow.
Because it's that small of a story.
Okay, every explosion, even the Big Bang started with a spark. Okay. Oh, I'm not old enough to be there. I'm just, science said so.
George is, but it's.
He's trying to say you were there when the Earth was new, man. Okay,
Sorry, my man. Sorry. I'm on fire now. I'm sorry. Don't kick me. Don't kick me for real. Like, I've been making jokes with George when I see him. Like, his foot will tap my leg, and I'll be like, "That's another one. I took another leg kick from George Stallworth." I don't want you to actually like catch me slipping at freaking Lion and Crown, and next thing you know, I'm sitting there limping my way. Like Kelechi always says, "You'll walk here, but you'll limp back." I don't want to limp back. I don't want to limp back. I just had to make that joke.
Yes, sir.
One of my former students has challenged Ryan to a fight.
Oh, who?
Yeah.
Who? We'll promote him. Oh.
No, it's a her.
Even better. Even better.
This is true. This is true. Okay, I didn't know where you were going, but this is true. I did.
Well, how many threats do you have, Ryan? Okay.
Look, look. All I gotta say is this: the list of names that want to fight this guy is long. It is long. Their people are coming out of the woodworks because they want a piece of the enemy. Ryan Smith. That's right. That's my fight name. Ryan the Enemy Smith. The list is long, but guess what?
She is chomping at the bit to throw a leg kick at him.
She wants to kick me so bad.
What is her name?
So hard.
What is her name?
Her name is Cindy.
Okay.
Cindy wants to kick me so bad.
Get a shout out on the show today. She wants to
Cindy, you get that shout out. I'm promoting you. I'm going to promote you every week until it actually happens. Okay.
Crazy part is Ryan doesn't believe it will happen. I know she will.
She may end up catching me slipping. I'm just hoping that she doesn't. So
Cindy, just run up on him at the Lion and Crown. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Listen, look, I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna lean all the way into it.
Pull up on me. Pull up on me. Pull up on me.
We definitely gonna have to sit. We're gonna have to send her this clip from this show.
No, don't send her this clip.
You will be leg kicked tonight.
She gonna show up at my doorstep. You
will be walking around limping for the next 2 weeks.
Boy, that Zoom meeting at your job is gonna be real interesting next week. I'm just saying. Why are you wearing shades, Ryan? Okay.
Why are you wearing shades on your leg, Ryan? Oh man, it was really funny. It was really funny. Just as an aside, and then we'll wrap up the show because But here we go. This was what, Thursday night. So there's a crew that that we hang out with at the Lion and Crown, and so they were talking about. All I heard was, and so she's gonna have a knee surgery coming up, and so I'm like, oh, okay. And they're making jokes about getting a wheelchair for the person that's going to get knee surgery. And I thought they were talking about Cindy. So I went up and I was like, so Cindy, you're getting the knee surgery? And she goes, no, I'm not getting a knee surgery. Why are you asking? I'm like, oh, because I was going to ask you where's that leg kick at, huh? Where's that? And she was like, I completely forgot that I was supposed to be kicking you. And George was like, oh, I forgot too. I'm like, oh, dang.
Set himself up for failure on this.
So yeah, because it was one of those things.
He went and poked a sleeping dog.
Yeah. It was one of those things where I thought that it was just a joke, right? So I was like, yeah, we just laughed about how she's going to kick me in the leg and I was going to have to, take it or whatever. No, she had forgotten. And I reminded her, and now it's back on her brain again. So it's like, dang it. I dodged the bullet and then went and told them to try again. Shoot me again.
So, Cindy, if you show up as Chun-Li and kick him 3 times, one in the leg, one in the midsection, and one in the head, I got $100 for you. Okay? I got 100.
Okay, number one, everybody got a drink. We just added.
Are we starting that today? I thought that was next week.
We just added it. Street Fighter reference. Everybody drink. All right, so there you go. Last story. Czech Congo won a fight. He actually won a fight. By submission. He won a fight by submission, which is impressive. But I gotta admit, who's gonna be willing to submit to Czech Congo? I'm just gonna go to sleep. Let the ref call it. If you got me, I'm not gonna tap. I know I'm gonna have to go back on all the words that I had, but I'm going Gracie style on this one. I mean, where it's like if Czech Congo gets me in a rear naked choke or a guillotine, I'm going to sleep. Somebody wake me up and don't tell me what happened.
You're just gonna die. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just gonna take it. I'm going to just take it and just be like in my hole somewhere saying, I can't believe that I actually got submitted by Czech Congo. Like Pat Barry don't even fight anymore because he got knocked out by Czech Congo. Come on.
46 years old, dude. 46 years old. Remember that.
So, Pat Barry
today's show has been all about older fighters, huh?
It has.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Yep.
So speaking of older fighters,
UFC
Vegas 35 is coming up. Let's get into it. This is the fight card.
All right.
All right, this is the final segment of the show. This is UFC Vegas 35, Barboza versus Chikadze. Saturday, August 28, 2021 at the Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have 5 fights on the card. Mahmoud Muradov versus Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert's not a spring chicken.
No, he's not.
He's been in the game for a while.
But he got scraps. He's got the slapjacks.
Yes, he can.
Okay.
You got Kevin Lee's coming back against Daniel Rodriguez. Brian Battle versus Gilbert Ubina. I don't know if you guys are actually watching The Ultimate Fighter, but there are 2 Ultimate Fighter finale fights on this card. Brian Battle versus Gilbert Urbina being one of them. The other one is Ricky Turcios versus Brady Heiston. And both of these are for the Ultimate Fighter championships. This is the one between Alexander Volkanovski and Brian T-City Ortega. We're going to crown 2 new Ultimate Fighters. And then in the main event of the evening, you have Edson Barboza, who's not a spring chicken.
No.
But still deadly as all get out. Huh? What?
It's all right. I can't wait till Cindy sees you.
No, I'm not even throwing shade at you. I'm not. See, this is the problem now because I'm not throwing shade, but he's taking it. He's taking it to shade.
Look, I'm over here crushing cans and stuff now.
See, look at him. See,
what I'm saying is Edson Barboza.
That's the way that leg is gonna crample.
Edson Barboza is still elite. That's
2
all
legs,
I'm saying.
boom, the left and the right.
Oh man, I am literally not. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to see you. You stay down south of 635. That's where it's safe.
I'm putting Cindy on you. I hope she run up on you from behind to just top the leg.
Cindy,
I hope she go Jose Aldo on your leg.
Cindy, you go send Cindy after me.
Pull up on me.
That's all I gotta say.
On me. Pull up.
Hey, I just want, while you over here, hitting the little button and stuff, I want you to know I texted her already.
No,
do it. See, you wish Triple C jumped on you now. Okay.
Hey, okay, I'm just gonna throw one more piece of shade. I was shocked. So George has a photo that he took with Henry Cejudo. George is taller than Henry Cejudo, and Henry Cejudo's head is twice as big as George's. I don't know if that's why they had the camera.
Hit that button again.
Oh,
the views expressed by the individual talking.
What you just heard is solely the opinion of the speaker and does not reflect the opinions of anyone else on the Combat Sports Talk podcast or anyone affiliated with this program.
All right, the main event of the evening: Edson Barboza, Giga Chikadze. This is going to be a great fight. Edson Barboza, elite as is elite as he's ever been. His career has been in the UFC, one that's exciting. We talked about at the beginning, the Ignacio Bahamondes and his wheel kick. Well, guess who made the wheel kick a popular thing to knock folks out with? And that is Edson Barboza. They still show that knockout years and years and years later. I think it's almost 10 years old now when he did that. But it's still one of those classic highlights that underscores how powerful Edson Barboza is. Leg kicks galore, body kicks, spinning punches. He can knock you out in so many different ways. It's going to be a great fight. Chikadze is going to be in for it. So we're going to make our flash fight picks, guys. Who you got? Edson Barboza versus Giga Chikadze.
So hard. Edson, because he always delivers. I mean, in the end, everybody wins because we're there for the violence. But for his sake, I'm going to Edson Barboza.
Mr. Stallworth.
I'm going with Giga. I'm rolling with Giga, man. Somebody's gonna get that crow button next week.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna get that crow button. Looks like Lepidolite's weighing in. He's got Edson Barboza as well. I'll put it in there. Anybody else watching the fight? What you got? Let us know. We'll call all of y'all out when y'all get it wrong. So look, we got somebody picking somebody else, so it's gonna come down to somebody's got to eat crow, and I'm hoping that it's not me, because
so let us know who you got.
Yeah, come on, man. And George, don't think we didn't see that little gun show. I saw that little gun show promotion.
I just want you to recognize that Ryan is over there right now, just detailing, looking for information, looking for what's going to. Remember how I said this fight game is a game of interest? That's what he's using now. He's using the time that I'm prolonging this conversation to look up information to make a decision. That is Miesha Tate. We're going to call that the Miesha Tate complex.
Oh, ouch! That works. That works. Okay, so if you look at what Lapedialite just said, he's just picking Muay Thai over kickboxing. That says a lot. All right, you're looking at power strikers versus dynamic strikers. Even though we know Edson Barboza is one dynamic striker. Isn't Edson Barboza a capoeira as well?
I don't know, but I think Edson Barboza. You got your drinks ready?
Oh God, what is he about to do?
I think Edson Barboza is a black belt in a certain martial art.
Oh no! Okay. So here we go.
Hold up. Where are you getting this information from again? What shady website? Or does it say he has a progede?
Oh no, he does have a black progede. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, George. Don't find me, dude. Don't
like.
Yeah. He's also got a black belt in Taekwondo.
Black belt in Taekwondo. All right, so there it is. Black belt in Taekwondo, not a black belt in the art of the 8 limbs.
Stop. I gotta say it. He does have a black progede. And if I'm saying it wrong, you correct me at any time, George. Okay. Yes, Mr. Stallworth, he does have a black progede.
A black progede doesn't carry any ranking with it. Like that color doesn't actually. What would I say?
There went my trip.
The high level progedes would be like red. At red, you tend to be a crew or a teacher or something like that. Black, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go look up my progede.
If they take it the way that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu takes it, the black belt generally symbolizes that you are very competent, that you have mastered your skills. When you start getting into the reds, that's the senior level stuff. Okay,
but what I'm saying is in Muay Thai, as far as the progede colors, black's not in there. It's not in there, so I don't.
All right. So, like I said,
that's what I'm saying. Like him having a black progede, I'm like, never heard of that before.
That's like me wearing a blue cap.
You can wear one. I mean, but
I'm just saying that there went my trip.
You can wear a pink one, but pink doesn't have any significance in the same sense as far as progedes. But
I'm saying that's when my trip. That went my trip to Brazil.
Curious. So. I'm curious though, and please. Look, I've been throwing shade so much today that this question may come off as
flip it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm listening. So let me look you in the eye right now.
No, I'm curious. I'm curious. Do you have a certain color progede that you have?
Yes, I have a brown progede.
Okay. I didn't want to ask that question. Like, what color is your progede? Like.
Yeah, that's what you wanted to ask. That is what you wanted to ask.
At this point, I have made so many jokes that I realize that now I've written a check that I can't cash. So I gotta give you the respect now, sir.
We got them running, people.
I'm scared now because I just realized that I gotta see you in like a day or two,
or a few hours.
Oh no! Just remember, my kids are here. My kids are home.
Oh man, he's bringing up the kids.
I got kids. All right. Hey, so I went ahead and picked Edson Barboza. I'm picking Edson Barboza. The only reason why is because the UFC website sucks. I'm on the UFC website.
What information did you glean in that long amount of time that it took you to make that pick.
Look. Let me show you what I was trying to look at here, and why I'm saying UFC sucks. The website right here, boom, showing you the website. Look at this. Look at this. This doesn't help me any. I got no information about Chikadze. I use this. This is the stats I use. Significant strikes, absorbs per minute. They don't really. He's not a grappler, so we don't care. Like, it's right here. Is he taking more punches than he's landing?
And I think you're kind of going against your own creed there, sir.
No, I'm not. Chikadze is from freaking Georgia. He's not from Russia.
Not Georgia, the state.
Yeah, Georgia, the country.
Georgia, the country.
Which Georgia, the country, based on UN definitions, is a state. So it's crazy like that.
Okay. All
right. So I'm gonna go Edson Barboza with John Keys and Lepidolite. George Stallworth, you are on a Crow Watch. So you'll either be enjoying it or you'll be serving it. So we'll see. Follow us on social media on Instagram. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Let's end this. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So follow us on social media on Instagram. I'm at Combat Sports Talk. John?
I am at Keys to Victory, where even though I've been on the mend for the past few weeks, I think it's about time. My stitches are pretty good now, so I think I can get back to doing what I do best.
Which is?
Talk crazy.
Okay, because I thought you were just walking.
Work out too.
I thought you were just walking. Like, why do you need shoulder stitches?
Well, because I want to get back into lifting weights too, man.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to sweat getting into my.
I got it.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Stallworth, Instagram.
You can find me at darkside _ Muay Thai _.
Well, hold on. Before you do that, George, can you like slide to the right there and show everybody where you're located at right now? I mean, is that kosher? Is that
screen?
Cool? Yeah, there you go. There.
So
DFW Krav Maga.
No, Krav Maga
DFW. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
There's actually like another. Yeah.
You can't see it, but it's on the end of it. DFW.
Yep.
I see it.
So if you want to get some training by George G-Money Stallworth, see what it's like to work with a high level Muay Thai coach. There you go. There's some of the bags.
Yeah, that's where the pain goes.
Full screen. Let me put a full screen for you.
Yeah, try that again. Yeah. See, unbeknownst to y'all people, he stuffed bodies in there. He puts bodies in there of bad students, and he just wears them out. So
yeah, that's right. Those are actually people in there that's making them stand up like that. It's not sand or anything, not padding. It's actually people.
Yeah.
Do you have a 6'3" one? Because I feel like I'm going to end up being in one by the time we get off the air. Like I'm going to have to apologize so hard. Do I need to buy your meal next time? I got to atone for real. All right. You can also.
I'm just waiting to hear from Cindy. That's all.
No. Don't make me your light work for real. Like, please. Follow us on our website at combatsportstalk.com. We're on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. A shout out to MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, MMA Mania, Bloody Elbow, and the Intelligent Defense Discussion Group, because those are all the sites providing the stories and the conversations that we have here on the show. And on behalf of George G-Money Stallworth, John Keys, my name is Ryan Smith, reminding you to keep your hands up, your chin tucked, and throw bombs. We'll catch you next time.